Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Wolfinia. This is episode 293 of my Minecraft survival series, and in the last episode, we spent some time over here in Wolfen's laboratory. We did a little bit of repaving of the grounds. Unfortunately, that did unearth a little bit of the corruption beneath the grounds, but I did forget to do a little bit of work to the lot over here. As you can see, this still needs some repaving. So before we do anything else, I should probably get to that. Now, fortunately for me, this is a fairly small area, and it looks like the corruption hasn't reached this far back, so should be easy enough. And there we go. So, at this point, I think we can safely say the grounds of Wolfen's laboratories are now complete, which probably should have happened last episode. Anyway, that is one thing we can check off our to-do list. Owie. You know, I think at this point, we can probably say the Waterside District is almost done. There's one or two small projects left, but it's no longer really a major work site. So I think at this point, we can probably take these little roadblocks down and finally allow villagers out here. It's about time. These things have been up forever. You know, the business district is looking a little deserted. I do have villagers still, right? Nothing happened to them? Yeah, no, I still got villagers. They're still around. They're just preoccupied at the moment. Now, we have one more quick project on our to-do list I want to get out of the way, and that's going to be a little something over here at the House of Leaves. And we talked about it a little bit in the last episode, or at least I mentioned it. I want a Lichen farm. And I'm thinking over here at the end of this corridor is probably going to be a good location for it, so long as we don't have any netherworm issues, and it looks like we are actually good here. This is probably enough room for it. So let's go ahead and get to building it. At this point, let's call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. At this point, we do have a very simple Lichen farm built in here, and you know what, this should more than suit my needs. We can go ahead and have a peek at the redstone real quick. It is very simple. We just have basically a little observer clock here. The redstone just hooks up to the piston down here. We got a little bit of unnecessary symmetrical lighting, so there's a little bit of extra redstone for that, because I figure, you know, why not? Anyway, to work it, we just flip this switch, the lichen starts to grow. I thought the item frame here would keep it from growing here, but apparently it does not. Anyway, to harvest, we just take our shears and we aim it right here. This is a single bone meal dispenser, so it's probably not the most efficient thing in the world, but it will more than suffice for my needs. Now, before we check this project off our to-do list, there is one more thing I'm going to want, and that is shears. Now, we already have these shears. These are going to be our dedicated lichen shears, but we're going to want to put mending on them. So we're going to want to make a quick stop over here at this apostate tower, because these guys have been storing enchanted books over here, and I think the mending books are over here on this side. So we're going to go ahead and grab one of these. Then we're going to do a little bit of this. And we're also going to go ahead and do a little bit of this. And with that, I think we can safely check this off our to-do list. So that is a little bit more work done here in the business district of Wolfinia, but there's a little bit more work left to do. You might remember a couple episodes back, we changed the block palette of our cactus towers over here. We added all this birch. And I've had a little while to let this sit with me, and I do think I like it, or at least I do prefer this to the gray that it was previously, because this just blends in a little bit too much. So what I'm thinking is that since these towers are of a similar design, we take what we did over here to the cactus towers, and we bring it over here to Dunder Minecraft. And at this point, I think we are just about ready to go. Now, Dunder Minecraft is going to be a little bit more involved than our cactus towers because we have all these other little roofs to worry about, but overall, not a huge deal, because all we're really doing is replacing blocks. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Let's call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. At this point, we have finished our renovations on Dunder Minecraft. And I gotta say, overall, I am liking it. I am liking it very much. I'm liking the changes we made to this area. I do want to have a peek at the towers from the back here, from the approach, just to make sure they don't throw off the look of our city too much when viewed from this angle, but no, I think that's fine. Additionally, that pretty much was the last major step we needed to make as far as the overall degrayification of the business district here. I think there is only one more thing in the business district that I want to do before we can leave it alone for a while. And that, of course, would be our mineshaft elevator, because this thing has been out of commission for quite a while now, and I think it's about time we got this thing back up and running. Now, for overall ease of travel, I know using a soul sand-like bubble vader would probably be the best option, but that's fine. We're going to stick with the flying machine type design because it's a mine shaft elevator. It's got to be noisy and clunky. Additionally, we are going to deepen how far it goes down, because originally this was like the depth of our world. This is where we have our old branch mine. This is where we have access to our spider farm. But these days, we do have the capability of going much, much deeper. So I'm thinking this is probably the depth that we're going to. But in addition to that, I do want to also be able to access other areas. For instance, our storage system, our elevator passes through it. Makes sense we'd be able to get on and off there. Another area at our old branch mine, and of course over here at our more newly established branch mine. Now I should clarify that I'm not going to make stops at all these floors. The elevator itself is just going to continue going, but being a flying machine elevator, it should move slowly enough that I can easily step onto and off of the platform at each of those places. You know what I'm saying? Now, we'll talk more about the elevator once we actually get around to building it. At this point, though, my main focus is just going to be deepening the elevator shaft itself. So, I guess at this point, we should probably go ahead and call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get started on that. Welcome back, everybody. At this point, the elevator shaft is in, and you are in my face. Let me get situated here, and then we can talk more. So I have made some changes. As you can see, this now lets out this way because I've made all the entrances and exits face that way because that is where our platform is going to be. Now, as far as how we're going to get from floor to floor, you can see I got some buttons here. We're going to use those to call the elevator up or down. Now, I don't have any of the redstone in yet, aside from the buttons, because, I don't know, I figure we do that together. Also, just kind of as a reminder to myself, we're eventually going to want to go, like, over that way and bring some torches with us, because if our miners come down here and they walk into that mess, that is an OSHA violation if I've ever seen one. But at this point, we can go ahead and start talking about our elevator. Now, this is going to be a very simple vertical flying machine. And we are going to add a little platform here at the top for us to actually stand on. And this is going to be wider than this. It'll be 3 wide with 2 more flying machines, one built with honey blocks, another built with slime. But first, I want to check the functionality of this one, and that does seem to be working well. It should pass through all the floors without issues since we do have non-sticky, non-movable blocks around the elevator area. Let me see if we can actually beat this thing up to the top. All right, we're going to do it, guys. We're going to make it. We're almost there. Almost there. Just a little bit more. Okay. Perfect. Yeah! There we go. And check this out. We're not falling through it, which is nice. Apparently it's just a little bit slower than taking the ladder, which is good. Now, I do have a stopper up here. We are going to need a stopper down at the bottom here as well. Crap. And we're going to need a way to activate it. That stole my barrel. Hold on. So we're going to need a way to activate it. So basically what I want to do here is we're going to use redstone lamps as a signaling mechanism. We're going to place those right across there. And I'm going to put my barrel back up here at the top if I can. I think that's oriented the right way. Yep, perfect. So basically, we're just going to activate those redstone lamps to send the elevator down. And we have these redstone lamps to send the elevator back up. They should also stop the elevator right about here at ground level. So let's just make sure those are positioned in the right spot firstly, which it appears they are. Excellent. So at this point, we can go ahead and start getting the rest of the elevator put in. All right, this takes care of the elevator. Now we just need a way to either call it up or to call it down. And to do that, it's going to be kind of interesting because we want to be able to call the elevator for multiple floors, right? So as you can see, we have a button right here. This button activates a dropper, and that dropper is going to shoot out items from any of these floors. It'll shoot out an item that'll make its way all the way down here to the bottom and land in a hopper. And that event will send our elevator up. So basically, we should be able to access this from any floor. And that should just about do it. So we have this redstone lamp locking this hopper here. Basically, that means anything that falls in this hopper will get stuck there, at least until it sends a signal out and a moment later unlocks that hopper at the bottom. But it should be in here long enough to send a signal through this system right here, activating our redstone lamps. So basically, any item we drop down here should be enough to activate our elevator, sending it up. At this point, we can go ahead and give this a little test run. If we hop in here, we push the button, we'll see a torch get dropped down in there, and there our elevator goes. So we have our up-sending mechanism complete. Now, as far as calling our elevator back down from the top, we are going to hook each of these buttons up to a torch tower that's going to run up the side here and connect to each of the buttons on each of the other floors. And thankfully, I do have jump boost for this, so should be fairly easy. Now, as far as how the button hooks up to the other floors, you can see it kind of runs underneath this barrel right here. That means that it sends a signal into the barrel, right? So regardless if it gets the pulse from downstairs or from right here, it'll change the signal. All right, everything is hooked up at this point. We do have that connected to our redstone lamps right here. So if we did want to call the elevator down from any random floor, let's say this one right here, we would just hit this button and that should send a signal all the way up, activating our elevator, and it starts coming down. Now, let's say we wanted to hitch a ride to the bottom on the elevator. We would just have to wait for it to actually get to us. And then we can just step onto it and enjoy a nice, relaxing, quiet ride down to the bottom. And we have arrived. Excellent. All right. So one last thing. I need to load up all my droppers, and then we should be good to go. And we're just going to use stone for this job because, well, that just happens to be what I have in the most abundance. All right, so I made a couple little changes. You can see we now have arrows, which tell us which button does what. So we're going to go ahead and call the elevator up, and we are going to see that stone drop all the way down to the bottom and hopefully activate our elevator, sending it up. There it goes. Excellent. Because we're going to take a little ride. Now, I will say that this elevator is a lot better than the previous version of this elevator we had in here. I can move around on it. I'm not getting bounced. I'm not getting jostled. It's actually kind of a pleasant ride if you don't account for the noise. But with this complete, I think we can call the business district done for now. However, before we end it for this episode, what's my barrel doing there? I did mention earlier that we do have some dangerous areas down below. And these dangerous areas, well, they need to be made less dangerous. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and make our rounds and light up some caves down here. And I guess at this point, we should go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and put on a little bit of music and get to work. Crap. All right, so I think at this point we can safely say that we are in recovery mode. We need to get our stuff back before something bad happens to it. Now, I did have a look at the replay footage. And it seems our stuff is like right under here. So what we're gonna do is in an expedient manner, we're gonna go ahead and dig our way down and attempt to collect it before anything bad happens to it. Man, what a way to end this episode, right? I should probably also mention I was hoping to do this during a time where I wasn't panicking, but you know, we got some time on our hands. Very limited amount of time, but we got some time on our hands. I'll go ahead and let you guys know that the holidays are coming up. You probably already know that, but the holidays are a very busy time for me is what I'm getting at. So we probably won't have any new episodes for the holiday season. At least until I'll probably come back with new episodes at the beginning of the new year. Oh, are we here? Yes, there's our stuff. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this on so I'm not being dumb anymore. And I just got overconfident with the beacons and all that stuff, but we should be fine now. Shush. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna focus on collecting my stuff. I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes. You know what the problem is? The problem is I've ventured outside my regen and resistance beacon range. Doesn't let me be as reckless as I want to be. But I do think we have everything accounted for. We got all of our stuff back. We got a little bit of mining done in the process. You can see what we've collected right there. I think I am done lighting up caves for tonight, though. It's about time for that vacation. No, you know what? I hear you, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am not in the mood. I'm leaving. On the bright side, we did manage to accomplish a good amount of stuff today. The business district is done for now. Really? You're not even going to let me have that? Not even going to let me look at the bright side? Typical. So yeah, we'll come back here. We'll mess around with all this nonsense some other time, maybe after we get the rest of our beacons up. But I do think that is probably as good a place as any to call it for this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more of Wolfinia, and there is much more to come, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed your stay here in Wolfinia. I will see you guys later.